Akashi.
아저씨 이게 뭐야? 안녕. So today we just finished Running Man episode 461, and for this episode it's a couple race with female guests that are like popularity are not that high, even though they debuted long ago. So it's a couple race with them where they're gonna win a prize and some of them are gonna get penalties.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's go over our guests today. We have Jang Jin-hee, and then we have Rothy, and then we have Sung-hee from Oh My Girl, and then we have Song Jae-in. So the four of them are joining Running Man members, and they it's couple race, so each guys are gonna get a girl, which it's going to include Ji-hyun and So-min with the four girl guests as well.
Yes.
So they start off with talking about how the guest most of them have debuted out like 16 years ago, 11 years ago, and they're not like that well known, or like, they've been involved in a lot of like commercial movies, dramas, and shows and all this stuff like that, but like they're not as well known or in the spotlight, but we know them, like here and there. So they get introduced, they come out, and then they get to talk a little bit with the guests, and apparently Jang Jin-hee was from Extreme Job.
Yes. So if you guys haven't seen that movie, it has been out for quite some time now, but she was the bodyguard of the main bad guy.
Yeah. So it was the group for Extreme Job. They actually came on Running Man for an episode, and then the bad guy in that movie was actually the one who played with Kwon-soo and Inseparable Brothers. He was the bad guy in that one, and Jang Jin-hee was his bodyguard.
Yes.
So yeah, so she was tall and she was muscular.
She knows she's a model. She started off as a model, and she started getting into acting, but she also knows jiu-jitsu, and so that was how she kind of got that role.
Yeah, and so obviously Sung-hee, she debuted when she was a little girl, 11-year-old, singing trot songs and folk songs, so that was her. And then Rothy, she sings a lot of songs, and I heard her before. She sang in a lot of Korean dramas that I've listened to.
Oh.
Yeah, she just kind of clicked now.
I still haven't.
Yeah, but Song Jae-in, she's been in other dramas, more so like historical dramas. So we're not much of a big historical fan, and unless they're like fantasy-ish kind of way, So we haven't seen her, but she was also in Haechi with Jung Il-woo and Go Ara, so she was in there.
And she's done a lot of commercial advertising
with Jae-soo and Haha, and Haha did not recognize or remember her at all.
Yeah, so she actually goes kind of way back.
Yeah.
She did a commercial advertising with Jae-soo Ha in Infinity Challenge, and Ha doesn't remember her, and so they were picking on him about that.
Yeah. So after they're introduced and everything, each female gets a dice, and it has each male's faces on there, because there's 6 of them and 6 sides on the dice, and they're gonna play some games, and when you win against the other female, you get to get rid of 2 that you don't want, and put 2 that you want, and get rid of the other 2 for the other female that loses, and put someone else's on there, And so they play around, and then Jang Jin-hee put a lot of sukjin on So-min's dice.
All of them did.
Yeah, she put
Some dice had 3 sukjins.
Yeah, Somemin's dice had 3 sukjin, and like they were getting most of the female guests. They were taking like Kwon-soo or Sepset. They kept taking Kwon-soo or Sepset, and so the others were like filled with Sukjin on there or Jae-soo on there and everything like that. And like Rothy, she immediately removed Kim Jung-kook. She's the first one to remove Kim Jung-kook off of hers, and then they're like, "Whoa, you're moving Jung Go-hyun?" And then Kim Jung-kook's like, "Yeah, your Shin Sung-hoon called me to promote your song." She goes, "Ah, 그래?" She put him back. And And he goes, I'm just kidding, like, you don't have to, you know. And then she goes, oh, let me think. And then he's all like, you didn't think, you removed mine immediately. You don't need to think anymore. And so they did all that. They roll the dice, and so we end up getting them in teams. So we have the orange team, which is Jae-suk and Jang Jin-hin, and then we get the purple team, which is Haha and Song Jae-in, and then the turquoise team is Suk-jin and Seolmin. The white team is Kim Jo-kook and Ji-hyo, and then the pink team is Kwon-soo and Rothi, and then the yellow team is Subset and Sang-hee. And so they were told about the X and O card in the beginning, which was like when you win, when they go through the missions, they're all gonna get split up into two groups, but it's within like group, but you're playing within your own couple too.
Yes.
And so when you're in the winning team and you win, you guys are each gonna pull the winning cards, and if everybody choose the O card, then you guys get the prize badge. But if everybody choose X card, then you guys are fine. You know, nothing happens to you guys. Like, cause you're supposed to have like the same amount of cards. Like everybody pulling the same one. If one person pulls like, oh, you know, a different one versus the other two, then that person wins that badge, and the other gets like the penalty badges. So they do that like every mission. They were told to do that. So the first mission they went to was the endure the wait. And then so what they had to do was they only showed like Haha and Kim Jong-kook in them playing. They didn't show the other people. So it's like what happens is the male is gonna lay down on the table while the other, because they're split into two groups already within couples and everything. And so the male lays down on the table, and then the opposite team gets to tickle their bare feet, while the female goes and grab all these stuff, equipments, and stack on top of the man, and the man are not allowed to laugh, and they're gonna keep doing that to see who gets the most like weight stacked on top, and they're gonna weigh in to see who wins within that round. So it ended up being Haha and Kim Jo-kook versus each other. So like we get the dirty players get to tickle them, like Suk-jin, Seolmin tickling Haha's feet, and then Kwon-soo's on the other end, and Kwon-soo decides to like sit on Kim Jo-kook, and then Kim Jo-kook like boom tip him, and he like flew up. And Kwon-soo kept doing it, and he kept getting pushed off, and then he eventually just sat down and put Kim Jo-kook's foot around him so that he can hold it and they can tickle it. And when when the whistle blew, Ji-hyo immediately grabbed Jae-in, and they started like getting into a fight, because the whole point is you're not supposed to stop the other team from grabbing the items to stack on top of the man. And so they started fighting, and they got into a crazy fight, and they finally broke off, and Jae-in goes and bring a trampoline and stack it on top of Haha's like, yeah, show my face. Like she stacked it on his face.
The trampoline was bigger than his upper body.
Yeah, she stacked it, so they moved it down so that he could see. And Ji-hyo came back with a mattress on top of Kim Jong-kook. And they just kept stacking until the time was up, and then they weighed their items, and then Haha, their team, all the other team, they got 81.8 kilogram, while Ji-hyo and Kim Jo-kook and them, the other team, they only got like 63 kilogram. So they got to pick the good cards, and the other people gets to pick the bad cards. And then after that, they went on to the second game, which they didn't show. It was just they went to eat, so it was an all-you-can-eat pork rib, and it was a telepath word game. And so you and your partner has to like pretty much connect words together. They show you the letters, and you're supposed to connect words together. Like, so if they show you like letters, and then like you go kitchen, your other partner is supposed to finish it up. And so they did that, and whoever won got to eat and pick the cards and stuff like that. So they actually didn't show it, besides they only showed that it was Haha's team, Kim Jo-kook's team, and Sef's team that got to eat. And then we get to see the other team who did not get to eat, and they just stared. And it's like the usual team who doesn't get to eat. They surround the food and just to try to go pick off of Kim Jo-kook's like grill, and Kim Jo-kook's, he's all like, I'm just gonna flip it for you, and Kim Jo-kook's like, I'm gonna flip you instead. And then they made an offer that whoever gets kicked by Jang Jin-hin gets a bowl of food. So Jae-suk took the hit, and Jae-suk got food. So it was just a short segment of that mission, and then we moved on to the third mission, which was fly on our card. And so they're at this car rental place, and what they had to do was go up against another couple, and you're supposed to, so it's defend and attack. So the defend team has to sing that song, like something peekaboo, and then you have to what's the word? Ajishi, help me here.
SWAT.
Swap your fly swatter, and then the other team has to try to run behind you and not get swapped or hit.
Right.
Yeah.
So they played on the two members who were defending. They sat in the front of the car, and then the two members the other group that are trying to pass, they would have to pass the back seats of the car without getting hit by the fly swatter. And early in the episode, in a talent showcase, one of the girl members, Sung-hee, she showed her talent about singing kids songs. And so instead of doing if you guys remember the random episode where they were all Zoe and Sung, and they were doing
that winter, the wind blew there. Yeah, so instead of doing that, they were doing the whole the something. It's a song, or something.
Yeah,
something
so a kid's song instead.
Yeah.
So when they say the phrase, and they SWAT afterwards, and so your goal is to get through both members, and then to stop the other group. But then if you get one and they get one, then whoever did it faster wins.
Yeah.
And so when the members did it, it started off with Somin and Seokjin versus Kwangsu and Rathi, in which Rathi failed and then Kwangsu got through, and both Somin and Seokjin failed. So Kwangsu, they won their match.
Yeah.
Then the second match was between
Haha, Jaein, Kim Ji-kook, and Ji-hyo.
Yeah, and so Kim Ji-kook and Ji-hyo both got through, and they won that round.
And then the last group was Jang Jae-hee, Jae-soo versus Sub-sub and Sung-hee.
Yes.
And they each got one person through. And then because they got each one member only through from the couples, they counted who went the fastest, and it was Sung-hee who flew by the fastest. She went through within 10 seconds because they're given 60 seconds to go through, and she went through within 10 seconds.
Right.
So they finished that off, and they picked their cards and everything, and then they finish off and they move on to mission number 4, and which was the flying chair quiz. So this quiz is different from every other quiz, and there's no right and wrong answers. It's just depending on how you answer it and the judge likes it or not.
Yes.
So they take turns, so all the female will sit on the flying chair and all the male will answer. And the judges are the female. When it's the guys answering the question, it's the female, like PDs, security, FD, everyone, all the staff, the female staff sits there. And then when it's the girls, it's the male staff that sits there. And so instead of it being a question, it's like a texting to each other. And like, so it's like, oh, the female responded this, and like one of them was like, the female was like trying to text her boyfriend. She's like, where have you been? Like, you're not picking up my text and like stuff like that. And then the boyfriend texts back, and he'll be like, oh honey, I'm so sorry, I'm at the PC cafe, let me play one more round and I'll meet up with you. And then the question to you is, how will you respond to that? And if you respond into the male's liking, they give you O, and you're supposed to get more O's than X. And if you get X's, your partner flies off in that chair.
Yes.
So they get to do all that. And then there was the first one was the male, and the female scratched the car. And then how would the male respond? And I respond, my car, crying face.
He really was animated.
and then they did the female one where she won the lottery, and then Jae-soo was like, Jae-soo was like the perfect answer. Even I agree with it. He's all like, she won the lottery of like a certain amount, and then he goes, oh, congratulations, can you give me $300? And the female liked it. The female was like, yeah, like it's a nice way of how he say it. From my point of view as the female, like I'll be like, yeah, like, you know, personally for me, if I win the lottery, I'll be like, let's split half, you know, because we're a married couple and we don't have a problem with that. But like, you know,
why would I split half? I don't own anything. Like, oh,
And then, but
where that? I'll just take you there.
yeah, and then, but like if it's like, you know, like for their situation, you know, Jisoo has was fine. I forgot what subset was that.
So it was, where are you? Don't be alone. Because it's not safe. I'll meet you there at the.
I'll meet you at whatever.
The place. And
the
they're like,
woman's
"We gonna do
like,
kidnap her?"
kidnap her, take her money. And Sukjang goes, "Oh, congratulations. We're splitting it, right?" It's like the female's like, no. So it was just a quick of them answering some questions and everything. And so after they finished that, to see which team who answered the most correct, got the most circles instead of X's, they get to pick their cards and to see who wins. So we end up with Haha and Song Jin winning the Korean beef premium set.
That's
and
right.
then we they stated in the beginning that whichever team loses at the end gets to pick another couple to go with them. So they did where they picked cards to see who was going to lose, and it ended up being Sepsep being the last in place who got the most penalty badges. So he gets to pick one couple to go with him. So he already exempted Haha's team and Kim Jae-kook's team, and so it's left with the bad luck team again. Jisoo, Kwon-soo, and Sukjin, and Seolmin, and them, and everything. So what they did was Sepsep put an X card within all the cards, and if you picked it, whoever gets the X card gets to go with Sepsep, and then Kwon-soo gets the X card. So
Yes.
Kwon-soo and Rothby gets to join Sepsep and Sung-hee in their punishment, which is indoors skydiving, which is amazing.
It's the one that we want to do.
Yeah.
But if you guys don't know what indoor skydiving is, it's pretty much there's a long tube, a cylindrical tube, and it mimics how real skydiving would be like. And so you go in, there's a huge fan blowing from underneath, and then it kind of blows you up, and you kind of float and drop, based on the wind power blowing out. And so
William did it. William
Right.
Hamilton. He
Yeah.
went and did it. It's so cute.
So Seb obviously lost, and Kwon-soo got picked as well. So their two groups had to go do that punishment, and even both the male and female group members had to do it as well.
And like when the female went, they looked perfectly fine, normal flying and everything, skydiving indoors. Sepsep's mouth was just like opening and everything, and then when it was Kwon-soo, they're like, oh, it's the 2-meter tall alien's turn. And Kwon-soo went and like so he was like, I feel bad for the coach. He's so big, and like he was like, his drool was everywhere, his mouth was opening, and the wind was blowing, he was panicking, and then he flew a couple times, and then when he came back down, his face hit the bottom, and he wouldn't stop spinning in circles. And the coach is trying to like grab him, but he kept spinning in circles, and he spit at the PD while he was in there, and he was finally.
Oh, that's who he was spitting at. I thought he was just spitting at the fan.
No, he spit at the PD. He spit at the PD, and then the coach was finally able to pull him and grab him to go out and exit, and he finally exited. So yeah.
So Seb told him to watch the episode.
He's like, watch
to
your
see your face.
But yes, and but we got no preview for next week. It hasn't been announced if they have any guests or anything like that. But it is on Running Man's website about their information about their fan meeting and everything like that. So we will check it out and see what it is. We got a little bit of them talking about it in the intro that Jason was busy on a day with one of the day with a show that Seolmin ended up meeting Ban Sorang and already fixed all of the lyrics.
She gonna go behind his back,
It's not fair.
secretly meet with the group and work on a song. Like, you're supposed to work it together, and she gonna do that just because she crazy and she really likes that group, and because she's worked with them before, so she's like
I know.
super duper comfortable. Man,
It's just not fair. I'm sorry. It's not fair.
professionalism.
That's
Come
not.
on.
It's just not fair. You know. It's just not fair to Jisoo. Like that's just so messed up. I'm sorry. But then we get we get for Kendra Cook's team, and Haha's all like, you know how we all use Messenger? Apparently, I was not a part of the Messenger group, and Kendra Cook's defense was, we thought he was in there, but we kept wondering, like, why did he not respond? And him and Gummy looked at it, and they never added Haha to the group, so they
never added Haha. Never added. They forgot. They didn't notice.
For Sukjin and Kwasu, Sukjin's like, yeah, we should start a group messenger too. And Kwasu's like, we don't even have their number. They didn't even give us a number. And you know, when they gave us the song, Kwasu's like, I only have 3 seconds of it, and Sukjin has 6 seconds of the song. So in total, we get like 9 seconds of the song. Instead of Kwasu's like, so the guy's like singing, and I come and go blah blah blah, and it's done.
And then the rest are just dancing.
So I'm tired of dancing. I don't know. They're probably just joking around, but you know, they're probably doing that on purpose. But
they don't know though. That's an idol song. An idol song. There's so many members, and each member does only get like 3 seconds, or 9 seconds, or 5 seconds, and then the rest of it you're just dancing.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of that of how their songs are turning out. So don't know much, but we'll look into more information to see when their concert and everything and how it's gonna go, and more information on there. But that is it for this week's Running Man review. Do stay tuned for reactions after this, and we will see you guys next week.
She wouldn't let him go down. She wouldn't let him go down.
야, 너 최장이야. 아니 시작. 왜 지금 좋아요? 준비 시작.
No, so she's gonna fall over the moment she gets on. Watch. Tell the producer. Oh, he must be a newer one.
No, he's been with it for a while.
Oh no, he's the one that always did that they can only pick on. Because they can't pick on him.
솔직한 걸로 유명해요.
노력을 조금 기울이시는 게.
근데 진짜 평소에 리액션이 잘 없는 스타일인데. 자, 준비 시작. 여기 오면 못 올리잖아요. 아, 여기 앉아. 여기.
Dongjin!
아니 그 이렇게 누구
Okay.
불통 안 합니다. 오케이.
오빠 믿겠습니다.
Like, why are you guys trying to get the items? Ah!
왜 그래? 나도 왜 그래?
아, 저거 이제 얼굴 나와야지.
아 잠깐만.
Oh shit! But I'm moving the way!
I can't.
Oh no! He can't close his mouth! You can hear him screaming.
이때 진짜 무섭지?
Di ba na?